Hey DR fam, hope everybody had a great day and a great trading day. Three trades for me today, and a couple of them were pretty interesting. So let's talk about what happened with DR. Um, First off, and I won't show it, but we've been talking about range expansion just lately, and we had another one today. If you look at the Asian, the London, and the New York, you see that each of the DR sessions was the preceding or the follow-on one was higher than the preceding one, right? So London was higher than Asian, and New York was higher than London. So that's at the range expansion. So prices is moving up. So that's an indicator. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to confirm high or keep going high, but it's just a way to, it's just another tool in the toolbox to kind of get an idea of what price might want to do. All right. The other thing that we've been talking about lately is how price is impacted when DR is forming. And so if you look at New York this morning, we had another one of those, prices kind of moving up throughout the entire hour that DR was forming. I mean, moved up quickly, and then it kind of consolidated and moved up toward the end. So, 50, 60% probability that we'll be moving higher, or we're going to confirm high. Now, how do I use that? And this is where, kind of that advanced strategy comes into play. Because when price does that, so I'm confident that price can do that or is going to do that. I'm looking for places where I can take scalp trades or trades, period. And so, for instance, once DR forms and price comes down here, it comes down below our that blue line, which is our point 0.5 fib for IDR. And so when it comes down here, I put an order right here on the IDR line. I'm sorry, not IDR line, on the point 0.5 fib line for price to pick me up to go back up, because I'm looking for. I see that trade right there, and so when I get that trade, it is if I'm not mistaken, that's about a 5 pointer that we have right here. So a really easy scalp. We talk about, I know ICT talks about 5 handles a day. That's your 5 handles a day if that's all you want to do. Okay. Now, not guaranteed that's going to work all the time, but because of what price did and how it, attacked that point 0.5 fib and then moved back up, to me that was a acceptable risk trade, right? Again, more a little bit advanced concept. It's not our standard wait for price to, wait for DR to confirm and then, to retrace, etc. It's just another, it's a scalping technique for me. Excuse me. And then so that's one, right? So that's the first trade. Price comes back down here, right? And look what it does. It comes down below the DR, goes all the way down, but it doesn't close below DR. And what that tells me is that we're not confirmed anywhere down here, right? Because to a confirmation, I have to have a candle that closes below the DR. All right. So I don't have that. I have price coming down and then moving back up. So my next, and that's not a gamble, but my next, kind of trade that I want to take, just more of a kind of advanced concept trade, is I'm putting an order here on the DR for it to pick me up and go back up. All right. So that's what happens. And I come up here, and this ends up being a 10-point trade for me. Okay. So right up here to the top of that candle, that's a nice 10 points. So, before noon, it's 15 points, and I'm in pretty good shape. I know I have a busy afternoon, so I'm okay with that. And we haven't confirmed DR yet, so I still don't have a DR trade. All right. Now, at 12:30 or so, we end up with a DR trade. DR confirms right here on this candle, retraces on this candle, and then so my next order or my next move is to put an order on this DR line for price to come down because I've confirmed low. All right. And you kind of see what happens here. Now, interesting part about this trade, that's why I said this was interesting, because I had to go into a meeting where I could not have my phone with me. And so I had put the trade on, and I was like, okay, it's going to run down. It'll, get my 5 points and be done with it. But then I start getting this action. Now I'm not seeing any of this, right? So that's the good part, is I didn't see any of that action happening. I did see this candle, and I was like, man, I should have scalped that and just took like a 3-point win or something like that. But right around like that 1 o'clock is when I had to go to the meeting. And so all this was happening, all this consolidation and up and down. Again, remember my order is right on this line. So, I'm up 100, couple hundred, so, down a couple hundred, up a couple hundred. And I actually had two contracts on this one, right? So each tick is 2 points. I mean, each tick is $25, so each point is $100. So I was either going to be up $500 or down $500 based off of what price did. But again, that's an acceptable risk for me because I already knew what I had done over here and over here. I was confident, that 15 points or 10 points, I'm in pretty good shape, right? But again, that's just me and how I trade. I'm a little more risk taker, right? I'm not telling you to do that, but it's just an acceptable trade. But again, this is a DR trade, right? So if I follow my rules, regardless, it's not an advanced trade, it's just DR trade. So if I'm following my rules, then my order's here, my stop is here, and my take profit is here. Okay, and that's what happened on this candle. End up with taking profit on that candle. All right. If I would have lost that trade, I would have chalked it up to that's part of trading because you're not going to win them all. Okay, but was lucky enough to have that trade come down and take out my take profit target there. All right. I didn't see that until 3 o'clock. So when I got back, price was over here. So I literally thought I had lost the trade because I saw this action here. That's the first thing I saw when I opened the chart up. And I was like, oh, man, I lost that one. But then I realized where the price level was coming from, and this had happened. So, again, was kind of, it was a set it, forget it, but I was playing with profits. So I wasn't as worried about, losing that trade. Okay. You guys can tell I'm loving this drawing on this pen thing. All right. Okay. So, the key things for me here, this was not my trade, okay? And because at that point I had confirmed, right? And when I got in at 3 o'clock, I was ready. It was up here. And again, I wasn't able to look at the market pretty much all day. I have no idea what was causing the movements, so I just kind of left it alone. Did have an opportunity, ICT opportunity here, to take that trade lower, and also notice where it was right on that 0.5 fib again, where it touched it and then went back down. So there was an opportunity there if you were interested in that kind of trade. Wasn't in my trade for today. Okay, so one thing I want to point out, and like why do I take certain trades? I didn't take this trade. Okay, didn't take this trade. Those are huge moves. But here's the thing: my initial bias was based off of this. Okay, and so when that happens, I'm saying, okay, I know I have landmarks where I know I want to look at taking trades, right? Remember if I look at the ladder strategy again, 0.5 fib, IDR DR low, IDR DR high, right? Those are 5 points where I don't want to take trades. So when this movement happened, easy for me to get in this trade and take a chance on that one. When this move happens, easy for me to get this trade and take, and because I'm assuming something good is going to happen. We went below and now we're moving up, right? So what I don't have a good feel for is what's happening on these trades. And some people might, all right? Some people are very good at, counter trading or whatever you want to call it. Again, I have a good friend, and it's like he and I are always on the opposite side of the trades. Every time he calls one out, I'm calling the opposite one out. So it's actually kind of funny, but both of us are successful in our own strategies. And that's the key thing for anybody is, you have to, kind of stick to your own rules and have your own strategy. What I do may not work for you. It may be too risky. It may not be risky enough. You may risk more. You may risk less. That's really up to you. You have to set that strategy for yourself. These are just, how I look at the market and look at these trades that I'm taking. And, again, for the most part, we're successful with them. So sometimes you do lose. Again, I was perfectly comfortable losing this trade if that would have happened, right? Because that's just part of the game. I'm not expecting to win all my trades. And then some trades I end up taking them off, get off early because I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't really feel like this is going to get to my 5 or 10 points. Let me get out of this with, some profit, right? So long story short, just, take advantage of your own strategies. Do what you need to do for make you feel comfortable in your trades. Don't get analysis paralysis. Don't, you're going to have to risk something to gain something, right? That's the key thing. It's just a matter how much are you going to risk for how much gain, okay? This was a one-to-one trade for me, okay? Sometimes I have 2-to-1 trades just based off, like this was a 2-to-1, okay? I risked 2 to get 1, right? or risk one to get two. Okay, that's okay. But it's up to you to kind of decide how that works for you. All right. So anyway, so that is the story. Just side note, Netflix and Tesla. Oh gosh, they really took a bath after the market closed. So interested to see what happens over the next couple hours and into tomorrow with both of those. You see what it did to the market open for the Asian session, which is right here. Already start with a gap here, and then it kind of shot down. Now we're starting to move back up. So got about another 10 minutes or so, and so I want to see what happens with the Asian here. So we're setting up actually a pretty decent range for the Asian session, which is actually like 4 or 5 points. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, that's all, guys. Appreciate the time as always. Like we say now, hug your loved ones. You never know when you won't be able to do that again. So take advantage of it while you can. And questions and comments, drop them in the little comment box. All right, y'all take care, and we'll see you.